Welcome everyone to this online celebration of love. We have a gallery with 72 artists, which is a wonderful processional number. For any of you who know about processional numbers, this is a good one. And we have a great team with Anthropos Festival, who is doing all this live streaming and getting us on Facebook and Instagram, and a big yay, thank you to them. So we're going to be introducing the artists here, and everybody will give you a little introduction to what they do and whatever they feel they want to share with you. And we're going to start with the artist Stephen Kenny. So I'm going to...
Thank you, Liba. And thank you, Sven, and thank you, Yasmin, for letting me go first. And I apologize, I have company here, so everyone's waiting downstairs, so I have to sort of say hello and go, but it's an honor to be part of the group and to be invited to be part of this show. And thank you again, Liba and Sven, for setting all this up. It's really wonderful. And I'm in my studio here in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it's a beautiful day, so it's nice to be outside. And I just want to compliment all the rest of the artists who are part of this exhibition. I know all of you, or not you personally, but I know all of your work very well, and it's a great, great honor to be included with all the rest of you. So I'm just very grateful to be included, and again, I apologize that I need to go, but I'm sure everything will be incredibly successful, and I'm just very appreciative again to be part of it all. So thank you all, and have fun today with whatever comes up. I wish I could stay for everyone's presentation, but unfortunately I can't. But so anyway, lots of love to everybody.
Well, we'll see you on. You will see your artwork on your website. We can see it behind us. It's such a pleasure to see you online, and I'm really glad you made it despite having people here. So thanks a lot. Lots of love to you. We're all honored to have your work in the collection.
Thank you, Liba.
So we're going to go on to Yasmin Weiss. Yasmin, hello.
Yes. Hello. Hi, Liba. Hi, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. It's also an honor, definitely. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you also, Sven, for all the incredible service. So yeah, I mean, just to present the work, mostly right now for about 2 years, I've been working on a series that has to do definitely with the apocalypse and magic, kind of like an eruption of magic inside of ruins and desolate spaces. So maybe I'll just take this phone here and just give you a quick little sneak peek at what I'm doing. Yeah, I just have to turn on some light. Okay, so here, like we have a few pieces. This one is finished, but there are quite a few. This one is not. I have a lot of stuff in progress. Same for this one, which is also in progress. A finished piece here. I can try to zoom in a little bit. There. And as you can see, it's a lot of, basically I draw my inspiration from old rituals, traditional rituals, coupled with war images, riots, desolate spaces, things like that. So this one is in progress. I really like working on this one. This one is the one for the show. It really doesn't look too good on camera screen, but you know, you all know that. So that's the guy. So there, I have quite a few. This one here is also in progress. So just giving you a little view of what I'm doing. Those are minstrels that come from South Africa, and just again a kind of procession carnival thing. So that's it. I think I'm gonna reach my time, and I'm very glad to be included, very honored. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, beautiful. I love them all. I love them all. Okay, so we're off to England, to Emma Watkinson, and I will just spotlight your video. There you go.
Okay, cool. Has Sven got the video I sent him? Okay, so yeah, I'm Emma Watkinson, and I live in Payton in the countryside near Forest Row, south of London, and I work mainly with archetypes and mythology. And actually, I was looking tonight, like a lot of my work it's all about love. So I and thank you, Liba and Sven and Anthropos for having me on this show. Awesome. Okay, so on the subject of love, this is Aphrodite. She's about sensuality and feeling and emotion and the ocean. And for me, it's also about music. I'm also a musician. Music is about feeling. And this shape, this kind of gold lines, is actually the geometric shape of an octave. So it's about the resonation of different notes. She's blown ashore by the zephyr. That's inspired by a friend of mine who makes operas. And I found out actually that Botticelli painted his Aphrodite during a plague recently, and I just found that out. So I painted her just after painting Kali. This was a full-on initiation, ancestor work. She will chop away everything that is not love, you know. This one, Akhenaten, it's actually a love story in this because these figures in the front actually look exactly like the couple, amazing American couple, who bought it, and she actually is a professional love coach, and so it's kind of like, it's interesting. So this is Brigid, and you can see her playing on her heartstrings there, which resonates in her womb. Intention, Artemis, kind of like set your intentions. This is DJ Tristan's album cover. It's about the Vitruvian Man. It's also about the I am presence, yeah. And this painting is my love painting. So the Magi's Grail, it's could be the Magus and the High Priestess, or it could be the Lovers, or it could be the Hermaphrodite. But the spark of light shoots down in the lightning wand to the sword that the guy holds, and the grail, the emotion that the woman holds, and together they plant a pentacle in the earth, which then grows and blossoms. And this over here is my Sri Yantra, which of course is the shape of the divine feminine and the divine masculine in union and bliss, and in the Hindu tradition. And this I painted in Varanasi after studying Indian classical music. All right, so yeah, that was my little video that you just watched, exploring the theme of love. I realized that it crops up in pretty much everything that I paint. I mean, it's what life is about, right? So yeah, thank you for having me, Liba.
Thank you, Emma. So now we're going to go to Australia, where we have Ian Whitaker.
Hello. Yeah, so we're sweltering but coping, and basically I'm living in the east coast of Australia, a place called Wollongong, industrial town. And as an industrial town, I'm sort of going the opposite direction. As you can see here, I'm going a lot more about rewilding of the human experience, trying to get back into a more magical or alternate world. And we've had these huge bushfires this recently, and yeah, I've been working on this. I'm really slow as a painter. I've been working on this for quite a few years, way before the fires, but I've been putting quite a bit of that, my response to it, into it, like this green world, to try and get it back. And interestingly, yeah, I've got a bowerbird you can see here, and we had a bowerbird create a bower nest or bower in our garden while I've been painting it. So that was nice. Yeah, so it's very kind of micro pointillist, the forest, and one of the things that I've been getting into is pareidolia with no one's probably going to ever see it, but I'm interested in making the background just as important as the foreground and being really maximalist, which is totally probably against what you should be doing as you get on as an artist. So, the idea, I don't necessarily, I'm not saying it's the way to go, I'm just saying the general way to go is that you get faster or more expressive as you get less detail, as my eyesight dims. But I happen to be going the other way, and for whatever reason, that's what's happening. And so I'm not sure how much time I've got, but
in your last minute.
So one of the things that I've been doing, I've been growing trees for years. I find little baby rainforest trees, and this tree, I've had it for like 10, 15 years. So it's I didn't know I was doing this painting when obviously I started growing that tree, but the good thing is that I'm going to plant it back out in the forest once I've finished with it. So yeah, I'm trying to keep it sort of immediate or connected. And thanks for the opportunity of being involved, everybody, and great to see you all.
Yes, lovely to see you, Ian, always. And your work, it's so breathtaking. That middle piece is very promising as well, man. That is an amazing piece. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm happy with that one. I find that more exciting to work on than the others. So yeah, hopefully I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully it will work out.
It's definitely working out so far. So thank you. Well, on to France. Here we are in Brittany with Andrew Gonzalez. Welcome, Andrew. I think you'll need to unmute yourself.
Yes, unmute, and here it is. Okay. Okay, hi, everybody. Wow, what an amazing group. Thank you, Liba, Sven, everything who put this together. It's amazing. And just looking at everyone's work, it's like, wow, everyone's doing some amazing stuff. So anyway, I'm here in Brittany, France, in the country, and nice and peace and quiet out here. I can really focus. And I've been painting for like 35 years, and I think maybe in this group I'm the only one that primarily uses the airbrush. So I'm in my little corner space here, and I can show you what I've been working on. This right here is the first figure piece I've done in the past 6 years. I've mostly been working on spirit animal series, but let me see if I can get this one close up here. It's about 60% complete. Maybe you can see some details. It's taken me a lot of time to finish this one. I'm really obsessed with going in and doing as much detail as possible. And the method that it's not just straight airbrush, because what I'm doing, just a quick info on my technique, is that I'll spray and then use various types of erasers. These are old, some of them are old typewriter erasers, and I remove the pigment. And I remove it in layers, and it allows me to sort of model the form and gives me lots of control to create real dynamic realism. I'll spray some more, add more pigment, remove, add more, remove. So it's a layering process, and it takes quite a long time to finish. But the results are really, I love the results are really amazing. There's a piece that I did, I'm almost finished. That was a demonstration piece.
That was with you.
Dragon. And so, yeah, it started out just pretty spontaneously, but now it's developing quite nicely. Lots of little details and flowing everywhere. So I actually don't have many originals here in the studio. Everything kind of goes out to collectors and buyers. So I'm constantly adding more, trying to add more work, but it takes a long time. It's a long process. But really, that's it. I don't really have much more to show.
That's
But
perfect.
so thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Andrew. And
And
be sure to go and look on Andrew's website if you don't know his work, because it's great to see you in your studio and the ambiance, but we just cannot. When I saw that dragon there, I've seen a photo of that dragon. It has so much detail. It's so refined. And I've seen your original, the one you're working on, and it's already, but I just see it blared out by the light.
yeah.
So this gives us an idea, but at the same time, it's really good to be able to look at a professional photo. So
Yeah,
definitely
the
go
photos,
visit.
yeah, I can't wait to upload the good photos, but I'm excited to get back to the figure. So more figures will be coming up.
Oh,
So.
good, because you do them well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, hello, Kathleen Schmieder in Seattle, Washington, USA. And
Hi, sweetie. Big thanks. Like everyone else, I'm so honored to be included in this family of artists. You're an astonishing curator, Liba. You have such a great eye, and I love that. I mean, love has been connecting us with in everything you've done, and I'm so appreciative of being here with some of my favorite artists in the world. Literally, I created a quick little slideshow to give you an overview of who I am and what I'm about. So let's do a little screen share here. Here we are. And let's go away for a minute. Yes. All right. So I've always loved and created art. A defining moment in my creative journey, however, came out of an existential crisis when I was 19. A double major student of art and psychology, I dropped out of college to move to the sea to recover my sense of self. I've always felt the most profound and loving connection to source, to spirit while walking in nature, listening to the still small voice within. Immersing myself in meditation and heavily highlighted books of metaphysics, I spontaneously began to create simple pen and ink drawings, usually of trees inside circles, which had a soothing and centering effect on my battered psyche. Making art, after all, was my other primary means of dialogue with the numinous, and I had intuitively stumbled upon what I soon learned was an ancient sacred art form, the mandala, utilized in cultures around the world for healing. Sorry about that. Fascinated by my synchronistic experience of tapping into the collective unconscious, I dove down the rabbit hole of mandalas and other universal archetypes and arrived on the doorstep of Taoism, specifically the I Ching, which provided me with a guiding principle of my artistic life in the following text. It is the social responsibility of the artist to reunite people with their reality through the symbols, patterns, and rhythms that have long inspired mankind. Which of course begs the questions: what symbols, what patterns, what rhythms, and what is reality? And so I earnestly undertook researching and synthesizing my great loves of art, nature, psychology, and metaphysics to better comprehend the underpinnings of the human experience, and arrived at what I call mindscaping, which is approaching consciousness as a gardener in her garden, exploring and deliberately shaping the living landscape of memory, metaphor, and imagination through art, in recognition that internal reality is perpetually reflected in external reality, and that we all have the power to prune, compost, and plant our inner landscape to yield greater beauty, magic, and meaning in every waking moment. Every artifact I create is a love letter of thanks to the Creator, who continues to walk the forests and beaches with me, whispering secrets through my eager fingertips. So that's me. Well, I stumbled a little bit there, but I think you kind of got the idea.
Oh, no, we definitely got it. Thank you so much, sweetie. And it's lovely to see you in your room with everything around you.
Yeah. We call this place Narnia, as you know.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to switch to Jake Coburn because he got up so early, because in Bali, it is, this started at 5 a.m. And so we're going to go to Bali, where we have Jake. Welcome, selamat pagi.
Salamat pagi, Liba. Thanks, everybody. It's really cool to be on here and to see a lot of familiar faces, and always nice to have these kinds of familial gatherings with the rest of the arts community around the world. I am Jake Cobran. I'm currently living in Ubud, Bali, but I'm originally from California. And yeah, it's quite early here, so thank you, Liba, for allowing me to make this early and make it somewhat brief. And I would love to show you some of the work that I have here in my home studio. I'm going to use my phone camera, so we'll see how this goes. But this is I have most of these works these are acrylic on canvas, all of these works, and I tend to work on them on unstretched canvas. So I leave them rolled in tubes when I'm not working on them. In regards to the theme of love, this work of art that I am currently putting some final touches on is the most relevant. This work of art is titled Equanimity and relates to the idea of love as a force which can overcome adversity or fear. And the central figure, sits calmly and composed within meditation with her heart open, the wings of her heart open and unstretched as these scary dragons swirl around her. And I actually finished this painting last year, but I'm putting on some new touches on it for a collector, repainting certain aspects of it and adding more detail. And looking forward to, I'm working towards finishing it by the end of this year, hopefully. And this painting is an homage to the magic mushroom. It was in part for the Mushroom Magic exhibition that Amanda Sage curated, but I also created it as part of a truffles therapy, legal psilocybin therapy retreat that I helped to lead and organize near Amsterdam in the Netherlands last year, and I began the painting there. This painting is called Triad. Some of my paintings are more like aesthetic explorations, or it's difficult for me even to discern the meaning in any kind of like a rational or logical way. And I believe that art should have the freedom to defy that. But these are certainly influenced by visions that I've had on psychedelics and through meditation and through other means. This piece is called The Coronation. It relates to the circumstances of COVID and everything that is beseeching the world right now, and lends a more optimistic view of what's happening, to show that the circumstance is actually pivotal and essential for our evolution as humankind and for the world. So these symbols are magical sigils with the intention that the viewer would receive a deep subconscious impression from them. And these are symbols that are geared towards the healing of the planet and for the evolution of our consciousness in these times.
Ah, there we can really see it.
Yeah.
Because it really, you see no detail unless you're really close in.
Okay, I'll try to get close.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. It's lovely.
My pleasure. There's a few other paintings here, but I'll leave more time for the rest.
Your Black Madonna is in the gallery, and it's so interesting to see your triad non-framed. It almost looks like it's done on a computer because it's so, your other piece on the floor, sorry. This is
Oh, this triad piece, yeah.
Yeah, it looks kind of like it's done on a computer because there's so many lines. I mean, it was a real meditation, I'm sure. It's
Definitely
great.
a lot of tiny brushstrokes.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's really amazing. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Well, go get a big cup of coffee. Come back for the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to go on to another medicine painter, Leanne Colster, and she is in England. Greetings and good evening.
Hi, thank you so much, Liba, and thank you, Stan. Really blessed and honored to be included in this show. And yeah, my name is Lillian Colster, and I'm in England, and a lot of my work has been inspired by and entwined with the kind of involvement with Amazonian shamanism, plant shamanism, which I've been involved with for several years. And yeah, this is my studio currently. I have about 6 or 7 paintings on the go, which is quite rare for me to have that. But not all of them are so suitable, I feel, for the theme of this show. So I wanted to kind of introduce and focus on one painting, which is yeah. So it's a painting of a pair of lovebirds. So I thought it was quite fitting for the show, and I started it a while ago. It's near completion, and just a little bit about the story behind this. They were a pair of birds that I used to have in real life about 20 years ago. I'd never keep birds now, but it was from a different time. And I was always really drawn to how lovebirds, they have a really strong bond and they mate for life, and you can only really buy them in pairs as far as I'm aware. So unfortunately, one of them passed away really, within a few years, and I was kind of left with one here, and he was left with me, and we just formed this really beautiful bond for 15 years. And he passed away last year, and I kind of reunited him and laid him to rest next to his mate. And I guess this painting for me was in honor of that relationship and all the love that kind of emanated. He was like this real beacon of light and love for me throughout this time. And so it's an expression of different forms of love to me, both like a kind of reunion of lovers, but also exploring the love that exists between man and non-human friends, and a reminder that love is eternal and transcends and can be felt beyond life. So I thought that was a fitting painting to share.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it's lovely to see new things, that we haven't seen on Facebook yet, or we haven't seen on websites. So it's lovely to have a peek into your universe. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And now in the same island, there's your neighbor, Jade Ansel. Oh, Joey, you had to go. I'll do you first. Did you say you had to leave early?
Nope.
No, okay, so let me do Jade because she's next in line here. Jade Ansel, who maybe you'll have to say where exactly you are in the United Kingdom. And you're on. There you go.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, as everybody else has said, it's just a real honour to be here and be amongst such amazing artists. I did prefer a little video, so I'll just share that with you guys now.
Oh.
Sorry, guys, I didn't realise I wasn't showing any sound now. It was narrated, but it doesn't matter. You can take your own.
It looked really good, though. It did look good. I loved all these new things you're working on. And I love your Yostra so much. It's always good to see it framed on the wall and see the real thing. And you can find Jay's work, of course, in the gallery. Well, honey, thank you. And off to another Brit, Joey Baker.
Hi guys, thank you very much, Liba, for including me in this beautiful gallery. So full of talent and such beautiful artwork, which myself I've been following for pretty much since I was a young teenager. So a lot of your work has actually guided me personally and helped me through some times as I've seen you guys all smashing life. I just want to say a massive thank you for helping me reinstate what within my own self, how I wanted to kind of pursue my own career. So I've got a video, Sven.
I thought there's absolutely no better way to show you my work process than to show you through my next painting and how I'm going to sculpt and basically bring my painting to life through visual forms. First of all, I want to show you ZBrush, which is one of my personal favorites. It's just such a dynamic and excellent program for sculpting organic matters, and I usually use this program for like main characters, people, flowers and organic forms, because it really has such an in-depth way of being able to move materials. Here's a dragon also, which is going to be in the scene, which I sculpted earlier. Another program which is a bit of a lifesaver is Blender. This is free to use and has saved me so many times as a middleman in between various programs. It's great for producing hard, sort of like metallic, blocky shapes, which is really good for, like, say, mechs and big buildings as well. And you can see how you can sort of create bevels very easily to get a lot of details on these surfaces, which we can then use further on. Here we have SketchUp, which is a great architectural program. So my work really does sort of focus on trying to illustrate the development and the evolution of humankind with and its synergy with computers, almost to sort of make a comment and on where we're going for our future. And it also opens up the ability to of the imagination with sci-fi and sort of like building worlds which really have no bounds to them. So this is where all the magic happens, which is I personally use Unreal Engine to render my models, creating an environment for them to sit in and really bringing them to life. You can see me putting different textures on and changing lighting around the world. If you have a sun, for example, you can change the time of day, but here we have a night scene. and there's plenty of assets to play with, changing different emissive materials to create a sense of that real cyber sort of ness. It's just another element of realism that you can add to your scenes, depth and perspective. Quick little render just to demonstrate. Worlds can be brought into all different types of music videos and animations, and but most importantly be brought back around in full circle into the act of live painting as different characters and working back into the 2D space.
Okay, thank you so much, Joey. Well, that was wonderful.
You're very welcome.
And honored as well that everybody is here. We're going to go across the Atlantic to, I think, Ben Ridgway, you are in California. Is that where you are? Am I getting that wrong?
Yes, that's correct. I'm here in San Francisco, California.
Right.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me. This is awesome to see so many amazing, talented artists. I, like Joey, I'm mainly a digital artist. And but painters are really where painting is where it's at. Like I would say that's where I draw most of my inspiration from. So it's so cool to see everybody's artwork in different styles. So I teach at San Francisco State University, and I teach in the School of Cinema. And my specialty is animation. So I teach mostly 2D character animation, 3D animation, stop motion animation, all sorts of different types of animation. So I'll do a quick screen share here, and I can show you some of the other work that I do. I do a lot of digital art and experimental animated films. I also do a lot of sculpture work. And here's a piece that I just worked on this past week.
Oh, wow.
And just wanted to show a little bit of the process behind this. So it looks like it's mostly like a 2D image, but I'll just rotate it here, and you can see it's actually 3D, and I'm actually sculpting all of the brush strokes there. So there's sort of like three-dimensional brush strokes. Let's see. Also, I mentioned that I do sculpture work. I have one of the sculptures here that is waiting to go over to the UK, but just wanted to share that. And this was sculpted in ZBrush and then 3D printed, and then was cast in bronze. I did a small run of these not too long ago. And also, I think I can, let me try doing this. Yeah, so this is one of my 3D animations. It's called Still Point. And you can check out a whole bunch of different videos if you're interested on Vimeo and on YouTube. I put them all there. And so, yeah.
There's a link to your Vimeo site right in the gallery. Ben has has the very first video at the beginning of the gallery, and right underneath it, it'll say Ben Ridgway, and you just click there, and you get straight on your Vimeo page.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Always so amazing. You say you're amazed by the painters, but of course, I'm always amazed by everything that if we don't do it ourselves, it's always, and it's beautifully done, then it's always amazing, especially when it's not our sort of domain. But wonderful, wonderful to have you on board here. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So here we are in England again at Marnie Pitts. Hey, Marnie.
Hi, how are you? It's good, isn't it? It's such a nice night and it's so nice to be here. I want to echo everyone else's thanks at being here and for all the hard work you and Sven have done to get this put together. A little bit about myself. I'm an Australian. I've been living in London for nearly 20 years. I came here to pursue the job that I was doing in Australia, which is special effects. But I spend all my free time painting. And the kind of work that I do is very self-reflecting. I like to focus on moments of kind of calm, moments of revelation, or I also like to sort of reveal stories that might be untold, or sort of shine a light on the issues that really kind of get to my heart, which is most often the way that we create our cities, the way that we live in them, and the way it alienates us, and how we in turn put our values onto the creatures around us. So I've made a little video just of a little studio tour and a few talks on my work. If Sven wants to play that, you'll be able to see a little bit more about my stuff.
Okay, great. So Sven, do you have Marnie?
I've got a really tiny studio. It's only 2 meters across, but I do a lot of different kind of work in it. I have an area here where I have all my oil paints hung so that I can find them. Another area for either digital work or grinding pigments. This area I use for sculptural and enamel work, the tiny work that I do that needs, you know, a desk and other kind of tools. This is the piece that I've actually got in the show. Behind me I have my paint station. It's got a lot more going on in a smaller area. I flip my studio around to face me when I'm working so that I've got room to step back and actually see what I'm doing. And that's my very small area, but I managed to get quite a bit done in it. I've chosen this painting to speak about because I think it's something I do a lot of, which is take a moment to contemplate. When I've had a busy day, working hard, overwhelmed by city commitments, those kind of things, I like to take that pause, to look inside, to feel the crutch of leaning on nature, to find the path through the day and get things done. This is a piece that I call self-preservation. It's a piece about building the wall around the things that you hold quite dear or true inside. Sometimes it's a good idea because you need to preserve yourself against the onslaught of what's going on around you or outside. But sometimes it can also be something that stops you from making progress, and that actually maybe you shouldn't build that wall so high and you should look outside of yourself a little bit. But either way, it's all about preserving the core of self. This is my painting interiors. It's about constructing yourself, shedding some light inside about what it is that's important to you, and not just the performance of you.
Thank you so much, Marnie.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, lovely. So now we are going here to Pennsylvania. Miguel Tio. Let me spotlight your video.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. I'm so thrilled to be here and to be honored to be invited to participate on this exhibition. The video, I just made a little video. It doesn't have a sound, so I'm going to be talking through the video. I have a small studio. I'm right now in Pennsylvania, but actually I live in New York. I'm in exile in Pennsylvania because of the COVID. Anyway, I have a really small studio. Let me see if I can see the screen where with the video. I don't see.
Miguel, didn't you send your film to Sven?
Yes, I did.
Well, he should broadcast it because then he'll have a better resolution than the. Okay.
I don't.
So
Okay.
if you want to see, you go to the broadcast. If you scroll through, you'll see one of the screens is called broadcast, and that gives us a view. And I will put it. Watch. This is what the public's watching.
Okay, so that's my studio. It's really small, and so this is what I paint. I actually did this video for my students because right now my studio is a big classroom because I teach primary school. That's what my view from the studio. So I have a little sofa in there and a little meditation area and the big mess on the back. But I have all the boxes, part of the boxes. That is like 1/3. It has also a little kitchen on the back, but I wash all the brushes. And so anyway, right now my studio is a big mess because I have to teach. Here I have in my house these are some of the paintings. These are really huge paintings. So that's what I'm showing the part of the living room. So you can have a sense of the size. This is a portrait of my grandparents and my mother. That's another painting there in the living room. More portrait, that's my sister with the cello. Another portrait. And these are some old paintings. That's a huge painting, the 8:30 a.m. And this triptych too is also a really large painting. When I used to do large paintings, because I don't do that anymore. Once I learned the Mish technique, the size of my paintings were really small because it's difficult to paint on large sizes on the technique. This painting is inspired in Cyprus. Another one from 2007, The Watcher. Brigid Marlin. I love Brigid. Too bad that she's not here
I
today.
know she was supposed to come tonight. I was worried that she might not be able to figure it out, though.
Yeah. Another portrait. That's a more recent work. So all these works now are on the Mish technique. This is a friend of mine, inspired of her. She's a singer, of course. And this will be the last painting. Well, thank you so much. That would be all.
Thank you so much, Miguel. Lovely to take a peek. So here we are, and we're going to stay in the States with Oliver Benson. Hello, Oliver. You are on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I recorded a video which, well, now I might have said some other things, having heard so many interesting ideas and the words of so many artists that it's kind of got my head going. But anyway, thank you, Liba and Sven and everybody. This is really, really interesting and a lot of fun too. My video is a little long. I think it's, so maybe we should just play it, not to take up too much time.
I'll start with paintings from a large group. Still everything in an early stage here, just sort of monochromes, a little bit of color added here and there, but not much. And a lot of these based on earlier, this one, for example, based on an old painting that was destroyed and I wanted to remake it. A few more things in the corner here, a little hard to get to, but I think you can see. And I have a large geometric painting, which is further along, still not finished, but more complete than those. And then back to that initial group again, one with a little more color than others, and a couple of geometrics too, a circular one, part of a large group of circular paintings that I've worked on over the years. A couple of oil paintings here, finished in 2011. And then this sort of oil sketch in 2008, I think. And acrylic at a fairly early stage, and then some more 3 acrylic paintings just recently finished that are going to a show soon. And then I have another geometric, another circular painting at an early phase. I haven't worked on this in years. I'll get back to it at some point. And then I'll show one more oil painting, also from 2011, but it was a long-term project. I worked on it for many years. I think I started in '93, and then just made it and remade it and kept changing my mind and doing different things with it. Finally ended up with this. The theme is something like Night, Death, and the Devil, though I see a bit of Midsummer Night's Dream in it too. It's large. It's not quite life-size, but approaching that, maybe 3/4 life-size, and I'll show some detail here too. And thank you for looking. Hope you enjoyed it.
You just blow my mind. It's so cool. I love your work.
Well, thank you. Whatever just happened at the end there was really cool.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And really always a pleasure to look at your work.
Oh, thank you. Well, this is a real treat, Liba. Thank you. It's so interesting.
Thank you, Oliver. So let's go on to California, where Mark Henson is waiting for us.
Well, thanks for having this get together. It's really cool to have us all here in the same room, so to speak, and so many excellent artists. I really appreciate getting to know the people I don't know, see their work. So I'm going to switch to camera view and tour you guys around my studio a little bit. So I don't know how the delay is, but here's all of us artists have a collection of paints and stuff. So here's some of my crap in the studio. And some of my work, I tend to work in political themes and romantic themes and all kinds of other themes. But here's one of my political pieces. Paintbrush Warrior. Let's see if I can stabilize for a second. Here's a large romantic piece. Get back big enough to see it.
Looks like they're at it. They're wiggling around.
Yeah, well, they're sort of cloud type lovers. I wanted to go kind of the dark and the light, play with the atmospheric type of textures. Get a little closer here, maybe. And here's another little one I made during one of our live painting sessions with Amanda on the train. Live painting session. So I didn't really plan this one out. I just kind of started painting live with everybody one day, and this is what came out of it. Kind of a little romance. And what I've been working on lately is more of a dystopian theme. So here's our intrepid travelers, and they're out looking for Shangri-La. So here's our explorers on the mountaintop. They're standing on a pile of dead and broken consumer goods and the results of warfare. And off in the distance is our city of hope and dreams, sort of a Shangri-La place where we'd all like to live And hopefully someday we can get through the fog of our existence and maybe accomplish this goal and live in such a place.
Yeah.
So here's some more of my little studio. Here's my computer zone and one of my sketchbooks. I'm designing some wrought iron garden gates for a client. And I also like to do lots of little sketches. So I'll end up here on a little political note with our recent elections and stuff. I've kind of felt like this a lot. Just take them all out and give them the treatment. All right. So that's
well,
pretty much, I probably used up my time there.
Thank you so much. It was worth every second. Thanks so much, Mark.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Unfortunately, this didn't work so well because we have kind of a lag at my internet here today. So
it worked out.
Yeah, I apologize for any roughness. Anyway.
It did. It went. It's a little small on the screen, but we saw it. We saw it. I was riveted. Okay. Love you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you around.
Thank you. I'm going to go on to Marlene Seven Bremner, and she is in Seattle, right?
No, can you hear me, Liba?
Yes, I can.
Okay. No, I used to live in the Northwest for about 8 years, and I relocated to New Mexico last year. So I've been in the desert for the last little over a year now and set up my studio here.
Beautiful.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say thank you, Liba, and thank you, Sven, for all of your work putting this together. And a big thank you to all the other artists that are a part of this. It's really quite an honor to be included in this group. And yeah, I'm joining you right now from my casita, which is a straw bale house. And I have behind me The Gates of Paradise, which is a piece that was included in this show. And it's obviously very much about love and about the heart chakra. And it's called The Gates of Paradise because I was thinking about the gates of the lower chakras and the upper chakras and how the energies of the cosmos and the earth come together in the heart and allow for that sort of unfolding beauty and abundance and fruitfulness. I unfortunately don't have many other pieces to show you in here, but I did make a little video of my studio.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and there's no sound on the video, so I'll just keep talking over that. I see it. So I live out in the desert, pretty much in the middle of nowhere, in central New Mexico, or maybe like north central New Mexico. And I paint out of a tiny home, which was built by Russell Moore, who owns the property here. And it's really beautiful. The video looks a little distorted as I'm watching it. I don't know if it looks that way to you guys, but I apologize for that.
I'm watching it on the Dreams and Divinities site, and it's not as distorted as it is here. It looks
okay,
a little more normal, but there is something a little wonky.
Yeah. Well, apologies for that, but you can get the idea.
Yeah, definitely.
It's small space, but it's really cool, and I have nothing but beautiful views around me of the desert. That's an older piece from about 2015, and this big one that you're about to see is recently completed. I spent 2 years working on it. I started it when I was still living in Olympia, Washington, and completed it after moving down here to the desert earlier this year. The dog is in progress, as is the other one below it. Both getting pretty close to being done. You can see there's some of the views. And that's another older piece. I'm really, really inspired by alchemy and hermeticism and working with correspondence and planetary energies and the elements. And it's very much a process of transformation that's going on within myself and externally. So that mirroring of the within and without, the personal and the collective. And I try to stay tuned to the messages that I'm receiving through dreams and through animals in the plant world, and through what's going on in the collective. And so there's a constant feedback and communication and dialogue between the internal and external that influences my work. And I'll incorporate ritual into that sometimes. And often I spend a lot of time working on a painting because I'm sort of waiting for those moments of inspiration and synchronicity to show me how to proceed. More and more, I work from a very automatic place where I just go straight to the canvas and start making big, rough shapes. And as I continue to develop that, more and more detail comes into focus, and I start to see what the painting is trying to tell me and what it wants to be. And at that point, I'll start to use reference images to get that realism combined with that sort of dreamy, surreal quality that I like to get. And that's a little loft space where I can cozy up if I get tired from painting.
Beautiful, really a treat. I love your work, Marlene. So it's wonderful to have you with us. Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you so much.
So thank you again. And we're off to Christina Lazar. Hello, honey. Live painting, here we go. That's great.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for including me in this wonderful show. It's so good to see all of your faces and all of your beautiful work. And hold on. Okay. I wanted to talk briefly about the piece that's in the show, and I think it's very fitting that I'm right after 7. And so this is the unicorn piece. I'm gonna bring this a little bit closer without knocking everything over, hopefully. Yes. Ugh, sorry. Okay. So I think upon first glance, this is obviously a unicorn heavy piece. So it's called Unicorn Consciousness, but its subtitle is the magnum opus. So it's actually about the alchemical process of refining the soul, right? So that has to go through a rebirth from kind of a death to a rebirth, and then a further purification until you are reborn kind of as an ultimate being. So I posit that this was inspired by kind of the rise of unicorn culture throughout, I would say, the last like 10 years. You know, I think at some point it was profoundly uncool to like unicorns. And then it became all the rage, right? And as a unicorn lover since I was very small, watching this kind of unfolding was very interesting. And this moment where Starbucks came out with their unicorn frappuccino, I felt was like some kind of pinnacle of commercial hollowing of this archetype. So we've got Starbuck Kali, because she's got her tongue out. The star is upside down. If you actually look at the Starbucks logo, the original is a mermaid holding both of her legs out, but it's been anesthetized into this, very close-up view. So you can't actually see that she's really like spreading herself fully. And so Starbuck Kali is giving birth to the unicorns. And the unicorns then kind of go through a historical unfolding of the unicorn. So from, this is both an elasmotherium, kind of the ancient giant rhinoceros that was probably in our ancient memories of gnarly unicorns, to Cestius, the Greek who described unicorns around 300 BC, to the medieval unicorn and kind of the view of kind of the purity of Jesus and of purification from poison. Then we fast forward to the early 1980s and the My Little Pony franchise, to The Last Unicorn, to then My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. So through it all, we see the two oracles from the never-ending story that one can only pass through if you truly believe in yourself. And so the within this structure is the Red Bull from The Last Unicorn, which is in this case Yama, the Lord of Time, the destroyer of all. So in order to truly believe in oneself, you have to go through this process of fully becoming, right? And as you fully become, you enter into the unicorn consciousness, which is a righteous individuality and a radical sense of community. So through individuals, and my individuality recognizes your individuality, and therefore we can have community through kind of this radical a being of friendship and togetherness, really. So that's that's what that's about. And I primarily paint in the Miche technique. So just quickly, the piece I'm working on, I think this also fits with the love. So where that's a self and a community love, this is me and my husband as Hades and Persephone. So very much still in works, but kind of our I think like couple love, you know, in a mythic love framework. So
I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina. Wonderful to see, to hear the story behind your piece. That was totally wild. And good to see the other things. I love seeing everybody's little world. Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Well, I guess that brings me back to me. I guess I'm the last one. Did I forget anyone? I went through it a few times. It looks like that we're back here. And I have made a little video. Welcome to my studio, which is in my dining room. But I put out all my pictures even on the table for this little gathering we're having. So let's start with this big triptych. It's in the gallery, and that's the middle panel, and I started about 3 years ago. It's finished. It has lots of little details in the gold leaf. There's 27 karat gold leaf in there. And this is the left panel, which was started as a live, well, I had already sketched it out and everything, but I worked on it live at Anthropos Festival this summer. And it's done. And I'm just working on the last panel, which has an underpainting, and the drawing is starting, but that's a surprise. Now into my big project, which I've been working on for the last 2 years, which is a tarot deck. We've all got about 20 cards to do. And this is my full card, which hasn't been photographed. None of these have been photographed yet professionally. And I'm just waiting till we're finished confinement and touching things up as I go along if I see something. And the same goes with, for example, my Wheel of Fortune. I've worked a little bit on these faces. Again, it's always just a issue of refining, defining. There we go. And this is the main one that I've been working on. I did this entire thing in this last confinement, and it's the Queen of Cups. She's angry at the top and happy at the bottom. And working on her crowns and their dresses. And that's, you know, obviously needs a lot of work, that little crown, but it's starting. All this is coming together. And here's my sun card with my sun. And could use a little more contrast in the face. And kind of come back and forth to that one. And because this is being done with Carrie Ann Bad, she has done this High Priestess. She's done all the pieces except that Seed of Life, which I am working on in the background. And voila! So, hey, well, Amanda, you arrived just in time. Yay, girl! How are you? Welcome. I'm going to put you on, and you'll be able to speak last to wrap this up. Hold on. Spotlight your video. There you go. Hello, can you hear us?
Yes. I'm sorry I'm so late, everybody, but I had to show anyway. I went on to see if it was going live, if you guys were live, and I was like, I just want to see all of your faces. And this is such an incredible group of artists. And I know some of you I have never met, but I admire your art so much. And I admire, Liba, your initiative to weave this incredible web of visions of you know, over so many years. And it's really cool to be able to do this you know, online. It's easier in some ways to be able to get together like this. And to share the work. And so really I look forward to looking back and seeing more of what went down. I had I was teaching for the past 7 hours or something, and it just ended up going long. So, but yeah, way cool. And some of the best art out there. I admire all of you. And yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic group, and so honored you're part of it. You can even, since you're still on live, tell us a little bit about what we see around us. Introduce yourself.
Well, hi everybody. My name's Amanda Sage, and I am currently beaming out to you from my studio in Gunnison, Colorado. And this has been my central spaceship station during the pandemic. I feel like really super connected to the world because of these mediums, and being also to be stable and grounded and focus on the art and community has been a really powerful time. And I've got some paintings. I know this painting is in the show. It's called Sonic Bloom. It's one of the few actually finished paintings around here. I've done a lot of work starting paintings during this period. I haven't had a whole lot of motivation to finish them, but it's been a really creative time, especially also for community, and I think really connecting through the online medium, actually through Zoom. We started this online community 8 months ago called the Nonstop Vision Train Global Art Jam. And would love to see you guys out there. Christina was on there early this morning she has a regular trip on there, and Kathleen Schmieder does as well. And Andrew Gonzalez has been on there quite a bit, and Liba and Mark, and would so love to see you all out there. It's a virtual art studio that is still going 24/7, and different artists take on the role to keep the train on the tracks and play music, and it's a place to be alone together and to share. And so that's really been a big inspiration for me, and I'm really excited to see how that continues to evolve and what's going to happen, you know, in the times when we can really gather. And you know, I feel like my work is really fueled through that inspiration. I have been painting trains into my vision, into my paintings with and eggs for many years, you know, the seeds of potential and possibility. And I see the train as this vessel that can take us back on the tracks that took us to the end of the Western frontier on a journey of healing and regeneration, reconciliation. And, you know, I believe really that art is a real backdoor, you know, it's the circus in some ways, you know, into the celebrating the genius of humanity. And that there is so much beauty if we can turn towards that. And so I feel, you know, I know that it's not my vision. I feel like it's been sung about and written about, and, you know, it's a cycle that happens. And I think we're in that period now where we're really looking for a lot of hope. We're looking for, you know, reasons to, you know, to be inspired. You know, a lot of people need that now, and more than ever. Where are we going? You know, so I feel that the art and the community more than anything, you know, is like coming together and making things that matter to us and potentially to others, and you know, can help remind us of this incredible mystery that we're a part of. And let's get back to, like, what do we have in common? Let's eat good food. Let's listen to good music and dance. And let's, like, you know, and have fun and grow food. And, you know, it's okay if stuff's hard. No big deal. But we, you know, we can, let's talk about it, you know, let's exchange. And I think that's really what the train has been. The Nonstop Vision Train Global Art Jam has been a place to listen to each other, to learn, to share, you know. It's not about competition. And I feel like that's really something, Liba, that you really carry strong, you know, is like bringing this community together, and all the shows you've done all over the world.
Well, you know, how could I not be inspired? I think you probably know, I can turn this into, because we all had like 3 minutes, I'll turn it into a gallery view so that we can have our chat now. But, you know, I first discovered, I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I first discovered the whole visionary movement out of Shamaria because it was so hidden. It was hidden to it was hidden to a sort of a festival scene. And so I was so inspired to see other people painting consciousness. I mean, how exciting was that for somebody who's been painting my dreams for years? And yeah, it's just, it's been amazing. So let me just ask Sven a question. We are in gallery mode. Thank you.
We are.
I get confused because here I see you. So yes, Amanda, listen, I've been so inspired by your work and Martina's work and everybody's work, everybody that's in this show. This is all the most delicious art I could possibly muster together, and just like, oh, just so it makes me feel good to look at it and to know you guys are out there, and that, so it's always been a pleasure to do this. And you're such a weaver yourself. You know, you're dynamic and you get this whole vision train. And I really encourage everybody who doesn't know the vision train to go there and share. You can do a presentation, and there's a lot of young aspiring artists on there as well that are exchanging and growing. There's some real talent in there as well. And that mushroom show you did was really awesome.
It is actually still online, the mushroom show. You can find it through the visiontrain.org website. And you can also, if you want to get on board, anybody that's listening in, you know, if you feel inspired, you hear the call, it sounds tasty. You can get on board through the Facebook group. I'll put the link in the chat, but it's the Nonstop Vision Train Global Art Jam, or you can on board also through the website. And yeah, it's a place of, you know, it's like, what do you want to bring to the table? What do you want to share? What would you like to see happen? What's your vision? Let's link it into the train. You know, let's make this most colorful, most awesome train ever made. It's going to be virtual, and then someday it'll be a real one.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Woo-hoo.
Choo-choo.
Yeah, wonderful. You know, if anybody wants to chirp in at this point, it's going to be kind of a free-for-all until we're too exhausted. I know some people are just in the afternoon, some people are late, but I'm fine. And but just inviting anybody out there who wants to unmute and respond, ask questions about the vision train. I don't know. No, it's the silent group now. Everybody's done so much talking.
Thank you so much, Liba. That was beautiful. And yeah, I've just been so inspired for so long by so many of you that it's really nice to actually see your faces and be engaged in a group. And the real beauty is as well, you don't realize how much power your resonance has, especially like within the last 20 years or so of like existing. Like most of you have changed my life and personally, but you would never know that because I've never sent a message out. And it's even just super lovely that like even the other day some person contacted me and said like I've never come forward to you before, but one of like my old paintings which I painted like 7 years ago or so, like when I was really young, and he'd got a full back tattoo of it and just basically came forward and was like, this has like really guided me throughout my life. I just want you to know that. And I was in a bit of a bad place where I was just having a bit of a bad time. I was away from my girlfriend and I was stuck in a different country. And yeah, it really helped me massively to sort of realize the power of art and how it goes beyond your wildest imaginations in how it really echoes out from you just following what you love to do within your life, and how that really just is the only way, really. So thank you very much everyone for coming together here, because you all know how much power there is within this one space.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned the back tattoo. I had a similar experience. Someone bought it, a print for me, and I'd completely forgotten about it. And person was making a transition and said, you know, this is sort of my beacon for that. I was like, cool. You know, the art went away. And years later, I was at a swimming pool at a public place, and the person going up the ladder in front of me, there was my art, you know, full size, staring back at me from this person's back. So, you know, I really get that when you realize, you know, that someone is actually, it's such an honor, you know, it's so amazing to see that incorporated in someone's flesh, that you know you're getting something good and it's going out there into the world. And, you know, kind of on that note too, I want to say to you, Liba, I've been meaning to send you a message. So you know what the temperature of the elections has been here. And when we finally started seeing that, you know, the results were coming in and it looked like we might have some new leadership here, I was agitated and I was exultant. And I opened up the Encyclopedia of Feral Affairs and just curled up into bed. And I read that text with the new eyes of going, here's the hope, here's the vision that I'm really hoping we're opening the new chapter onto. So thank you for that. That continues to inspire, and it just took on a whole new level of resonance.
Beautiful. It's so amazing how we can actually, you know, we're all in our own little worlds. Often I hear, especially artists, we get so into our own little worlds that even with the quarantine, it was kind of like, what's new, you know? And it's so wonderful when we see that we are actually having impact on each other, and we are actually inspiring each other, and we are feeling like we're making this magical community that reaches out to people, you know, and every kind of creative act does that through the musical world, through the film, through theater, and through art. And it's such a powerful conduit for messages because it's unthreatening. We're so, you know, we're so bombarded with different stories and so much information that we don't know what's true or not. Here it's just like pure expression. And I think that it often, people that maybe you'd have an argument with if you were being cerebral and having a conversation with them, all of a sudden it's like, okay, we've made a connection here. There's a connection through beauty. There's a connection through the feeling of that painting. It's really powerful.
Talking about positive comments, about in 1993 or 94, I got one positive comment in a book, yeah, before the internet. And that kept me going for, say, about 10, 15 years. Yeah, in isolation. And it's interesting, we're in this totally opposite world now, and it's quite transformative. I know it's sort of dichotomous, where it can go really flicky and flippant, but at the same time, you can have this really strong connection. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll give you many more encouraging words because I'm a big fan. I'm an Ian fan, big fan.
I think visionary artwork as well sort of targets like a place within our minds, very archetypal, that everyone can kind of experience and has had moments that resemble the sort of visual cortex, if you know what I mean. Like it's something that somebody who, say, has experimented with psychotropic drugs, for example, when they see somebody who portrays that motion through their art, it's like, oh, you've captured an essence of something that I've been, you know, wandering around, because it is such an intangible part of our brain that's flowing, and when we come out of that experience, it's kind of like it takes a long time to recollect and try and to understand. And then the whole sort of visionary art scene and its investigation into trying to pinpoint those places of real worth and those sort of sacred enlightenments that you have in those spaces was yeah, it's really amazing how so many people are trying to bring that into physical form to be able to easily distribute to others. Do you know what I mean? It's like the hard work is kind of being done, and the vision is being kind of defined so much, and the more it's being defined, the more it is like spreading out to people to make it kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy as of such.
Yes, it's definitely like a seed before the manifestation. You know, we plant these seeds, and they are like portals. It's like it's like I'm blanking Lawrence's book through the, what's his book, Amanda? Through the image, through his first book.
Through the Image, I think
it's Through the Image, yeah. And it's actually a very good book. I read that book, and it's a very interesting thought. I like that whole thing where, you know, we put out our art, and we can have it loaded with all this, you know, meaning. Maybe it's a vision we had, maybe it's something that we're trying to express, and the viewer might not have any knowledge of what we're doing. It becomes, what we put out becomes something personal to the viewer. And if we've done it, I feel, with sincerity, our view, then it seems like what happens is that the viewer is able to enter into that on that visceral level. And they say that there's more synapses in our stomach than there are in our brain, or something like that, or as transmitters or something. And it's our brain, it is a second brain, our gut. And we all know, I know that I get, especially as I get older, I get, you know, if I have a little bit of stress, it goes right to my stomach, you know. And I think that this is what happens with art, is it becomes an intuitive language. It becomes that language that doesn't need words, doesn't need cerebral. We just feel it. We feel it, and we know it makes us feel good. And maybe it opens up something. Maybe there's a color or a feeling or a form or an image or a symbol that just like, whoof, that's that door. That's that door that brings us into that universal space that is connectivity.
I mean, like, visual language is symbols on isn't it? You know, it's like how we can connect our concepts of even our own language to alphabet is a direct sort of link to how we associate information and whole worlds of concepts to single brushstrokes. Or the way that we can, you know, create a syllable, which means that it's pretty crazy how we can become so emotionally attached to such a minute, tiny symbol. And it's kind of like necessary for us to do so, to be able to communicate and translate, and to be able to use these formations to be able to a kind of almost like spread empathy, correlate with one another, and try and realize what we are actually emotionally feeling to one another. There's so many ways, but like art and expression, I feel like it was probably such an amazing tool to create like peace within groups of I'd say like animals, like maybe like prehistoric, when there was like monuments and great sculptures and texts which sort of like everybody realized that this was defining something within themselves that was grouping everyone together. I feel like language, or like having a shared belief system within something, was a part of that peace process of not being like, these people are out to attack me and take everything that I've got. So core to the evolution, and that still exists today, and will always keep evolving with our evolution, you know. So
together.
Art.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I think that the whole subject of doing a show around love, it's very interesting because we get more, the whole world is becoming more and more polarized, you know, especially with the American politics, which seems to take impact in Australia and England. I mean, everybody's involved in the American politics right now. It's very interesting. And there's so much division. And each side thinks there's Luke Skywalker gonna, you know, save the world, and the other side is the dangerous side. It's amazing how it's so polarized, and we're in these social networks that feed us these, we're in echo chambers, so that all these social medias are picking up on what we like, what we look at, and then they feed back stuff that they think we want to see. And so we don't get any conflicting sides. We just hear what we want to hear. And so when we finally come together with the other side, it's like, you are the devil, no, you're the devil, you know, there's this terrible rift. But at the end of the day, what do we all want? Everybody just wants to be happy. They just want to be loved. They just want a happy planet. And, you know, it's crazy. I mean, even the most terrible destructors, you know, like very powerful people that make big impacts as opposed to smaller impacts, you know, even they would love to have a beautiful planet. They'll probably have some amazing property with, like, in the middle of nature, but we dump in everybody else's country and don't see our own impact. And I think that there's enough ways that we can come together around causes instead of fight each other over causes. If we just stop the fighting and say, what is it that we want? We want clean air. We want clean water. We want clean earth. We want to live, you know, without racism and hatred and sexism. You know, maybe not everybody will agree on that, but most people will, you know. And like I said, and like you said, and like Ian said, you know, art is a conduit. It's a conduit that's able to touch us in a non-cerebral way so that it becomes a portal to our own understanding. Because it's only through our own understanding that we actually have impact on ourselves. You know, it's only when we really have that sort of eureka moment that our whole being changes. Yes, Oliver.
Sorry, well, you could see I was thinking.
No, but I love that somebody else wants to talk.
Oh, well, I keep on having a thought that I don't really know how to put it, but I feel like the whole world is changing now in a way that it really hasn't for a very long time. It's dramatic, and I feel like everybody is actually participating in that change, whether they know it or not. We're actually creating a new world. It's, you know, it could go terribly wrong. It could go terribly right. It could be a mix. But we're actually doing it. We're actually creating the world that's to come.
Absolutely.
You know, but again, I don't really know where to go with that. It's just a feeling. It's like
no, but I don't think there's even a place to go with it because it's so obvious. It's so important, and always the simplest things are the most important, you know. But we can't help but have impact on each other. We can't help but manifest everything that's happening around us because we are part of this one being, and every movement we have, every time we talk to someone, it's going to have an impact, positive, negative, neutral, depends on what people want to take, you know, what we put out there. You know, we just take what we can see here at that moment, but definitely we have an impact. And I think that doing things like coming together around causes that are positive and doing like the vision train like Amanda does, you know, that brings artists together. So there's a support group in this time where we all are so isolated and other artists can be inspired from each other and teach each other stuff. You should go on there, Oliver. You should go on to the vision train and do a little demo of your work or something, because I'm sure you'd wow a lot of people on there.
I've been meaning to go look, so I will. I'll do that. And actually, I have to go. I've got dinner.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, Oliver, please reach out, like
I will.
I'll do my best to get everybody's contact from Liba maybe, and I can poke you guys. And if we get the way it works is, if we set a date, we have, and do a little interview or do something special like that and let people know, then it's really worth everybody's time.
Yeah,
totally. We can stream like this too, and it's just building the bridges and connecting the fields. And I really have to echo everything that's been going on, what you guys have been saying about how this the narrative of the work that is coming through so many people all over the world now at this time is a part of this, like this healing that's happening. I believe that very much as well. And I see Martina and Pascal have arrived.
Exactly.
So good to see you guys.
I'm going to spotlight you guys. There you go.
Yay.
Hey, glad you got in.
Yeah, we had like the wildest time getting on. Nothing worked, and even the codes didn't work. So finally I tried again, and now it did work, so whatever. So it's great to see everybody. We watched though, so it's really incredible to see everybody's presentation. And well,
you can do your presentations right now.
Well, we sent the videos. I don't know if they've arrived. I think Sven said they might have arrived. If he wants to stream them, we can show them.
Sven, are you there?
I'm delighted to take you on a studio tour. This is the work I've created over the last 5 years in my studio in France. Lots to look at. This is going to be very quick. Lady of Charlotte is an unusual piece for me. The Shapeshifter. This is my Universal Mother, a piece that is at the Naya Museum in France. Many layers of glazing to achieve this detail. A portrait of my late husband, Robert Venosa, bringing in the light. The Blessing is the large central piece here, an archangel protecting us and guiding us during this time of change. My paints, thought you would like to see that. Elemental, the crest, it's a little piece on paper. My Shapeshifter, another piece on paper, aligning to the realm. A little goddess is doing her magic thing with snakes. And then I have some portraits, a portrait of Pascal Ferry, my partner, and Behold Infinity, our connection to the universe, alien life form, my many doodles in crystalline forms. This is Isis. And a divinatory piece. And this piece is called Guardians, an interesting shamanic piece also with these snake guardians surrounding the central figure. This is my latest painting finished. It's called Vessel of Stone. And I'm working here around the theme of the megalithic alignments in our Karnak, which is world famous for its megalithic structures. And Vessel of Stone is a piece of imagination around the megalithic culture. And the next piece is my creatrix. And here you have the Universal Mother holding all the planets and birthing the universe. And my late husband, Robert Venosa, is also in the show. This is his beautiful piece, Celestial Tree. And another piece of mine, a drawing on paper called Metamorphosis. It's also a piece that I just completed several days ago. And this is a video I created about Robert's life. It's a short biography in his own words, as well as my book, The Inner Landscapes, if you're interested. And Pascal and I both are part of the Naya Museum, and here just a brief view of the many books I've been published in and a very classical portrait of mine. Well, that was it, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Martina. So maybe we can go on and see Pascal's.
Sure.
Pascal, did you have a video, or are you just going live?
Yes, no, video. He has a video as well.
Yes. Okay.
Just like a painting of mine in the background.
One part for Martina, one part for me. You see a lot of painting, finish and in progress. The little red is are in progress. L'antre du passeur de songes, c'est un nouveau que Liba aime beaucoup, je crois.
Oui, je l'adore, honnêtement.
Ça, c'est une pièce for a collector. It's all, and it's a painting of gift of Martina.
It's one of my favorites.
Mémoire d'écume. The little, it's a meditation.
This is an older piece of Pascal's. This is newer
Meditation.
work.
Little drawing and a new piece in progress. My Gollum. A new piece too, Nemeton. A little canvas.
Called The Nest. It's a miniature.
And piece of digital and mixed piece of the vision. L'antre du dragon. Oil.
The den of the dragon's den.
And le songe creux. And enracinement céleste, je sais pas comment.
Celestial, celestial rooting.
In the collection of Martina too.
I get lucky. Christmases are great. I love them.
So, does anybody have some final words or inspiring words, or before we sign off or start off on a new conversation?
I love you all. You're all amazing.
It's really great. It's really great to see everybody, and this is really like most of you expressed. I feel just like you and Pascal as well, that this is a great opportunity for us to bring this mess around and create something really magical and better. So I find that while this is definitely a challenging time, I also see it as an auspicious time, a real reset button time. So time to move forward and onward. So, and I see tons of people coming out of the woodwork, people who have never spoken up and people who have not been expressing politically or socially or spiritually, and all of a sudden they do. So I see a lot of this. There's a lot of reason for hope during this time. So,
It's true. I totally agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and knowing our community is certainly incredibly important. And that's why, all of you who are super active, like, Liba, Amanda, and, I'm sure you're very active in your communities as well. I give you great credit, and I'm really excited to see how how we create more of a global community here as we go.
Yes, and I love that there are these different platforms right now that allow us to do it, you know, and I love how we've sort of been jumping in and integrating them into our own worlds. Like we were talking a lot about the vision train before you popped in, and you know, how that's giving an opportunity for artists that might feel isolated, that might not feel like they have a sense of community or can learn from each other. You know, we get very isolated, you know, in our own little worlds, and it's in a lot of ways a blessing that we all of a sudden have Zoom platforms, which nobody had ever heard of Zoom before this all started, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, beautiful. There's your sacred deer.
Yeah, I'm just having fun with these background paint.
Yeah, you've got your head in there. Every time I try to do it, it always sort of, I can't stay in the image. That was a beautiful show. A lot of you guys were in that. Amanda, you were in that. Martina,
yeah, the sacred
Oliver, Andrew, Mark. Wait,
Yeah.
Mark, you weren't in that one though. Mark, you're in almost everyone, but you weren't.
Deer show? No, I wasn't.
No. Yeah, you don't have any prancing deer paintings, but Lillian was in that.
They're in my front yard. They're in my front yard.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad there's still some deer around with all the fires you've had. It's been insane.
We have lots of. There's actually quite a lot of deer around. We get a few more mountain lions now because they have something to eat. So a lot of the animals have come back quite a lot. It's good.
Oh, that's encouraging.
But we see deer all the time.
Beautiful.
We got a 5-point buck likes to hang around here. We put out some water for them so they have something to drink all the time.
Oh, lovely. And I bet they're like, oh yeah, let's go hang out at that house. You know, the one that puts the water out and has sexy paintings in their windows.
I catch them staring in the window all the time.
Guys,
yeah.
I'd like to also say massive thank you to Sven, because for me it was really important last year where like all of my heroes who across the pond and around in different areas have been promoting visionary art and have been keeping, like you say, Amanda, yourself, that train going. But to have that really through festival culture actually focused on visionary work through the festival that you put on last year was like a dream come true for me, to be able to, you know, really help spread that within creating a gallery space of such velocity. And I'd like to say thank you so much, brother, for bringing that onto home soil and reinstating my faith within like the land which I come from. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a pleasure. It's so incredible to be able to, you know, help out with this incredible community and spread this beautiful art as far and wide as we possibly can, which is another reason why we're super stoked. Anthropos is super stoked to be able to help with the streaming of this. So yeah, we're really happy and super excited to bring communities together.
Yes, and thank you, Joey, because it was through Joey that I met Anthropos and met you, Sven. And so you're a good networker too, Joey. You know, you curated that show, and that's how I got into, you know you, Sven. And it's wonderful because like Martina said, people are coming out of the woodwork and people are, you know, coming into their own. You know, I'm a lot older than you, probably have a son your age, you know, but it's true, you know, it just every moment there's new stuff and we're injected this new creativity or new ways of expressing something that's so ancient, which is just basically coming together, consciousness, love, and all the things that we're sort of working together to manifest in this visionary platforms. So yeah, beautiful. Thank you for networking as well, Mr. Baker.
Yeah. Yeah, and thank you, Liba, for putting this together, really.
Yeah.
Thank you, honey, for finally getting in. I'm glad you made it. It's good to see your face and Pascal's and your
Under the
lovely
wire.
stuff. Yeah, I'm a big fan of everybody's here. That's why you're all here, because your work makes me so happy. And so I just, it's always a pleasure to bring it all together in a place where people can admire it. You know, I have to say, I had bad buttons and I tried to work on my site before, but it was, I lost a lot of the good mojo in return. It's often, I'm not into the like system, but I'm very much into knowing feedback from our audience. It's a really important thing, I think, to see how people react and to have, you know, input and questions. And sometimes like we were talking about earlier, we're so isolated, we don't really know what kind of impact we have. And it is only until we do have these kind of platforms and we do have a sort of return from our audience that's saying, oh my God, I love your work. I tattooed it on your back, like somebody said earlier, you know, and that fuels us. And there's sort of a snowball effect where when we're inspired by the feedback, we give out more, and that's more inspiring for other people to get more involved and to sort of open up their own creativity. I don't think that there's one person on this planet who doesn't have a creative soul. And you can be creative in the sciences and math and philosophy. You don't have to be a painter or a digital painter or plastician. You can be in any field. And because we don't have sort of a nurturing in the school systems of creativity, we're just supposed to memorize and pass tests, you know, we lose it. And there's a wonderful expression in French which says, une artiste c'est un enfant qui a survécu, which means an artist is a child who has survived. Because as children, we just play and we just explore and we ask questions and we do all those things. We're not rigid in thinking that we know it all and that there's only one way, and that we, you know, we're still alive and open to new potentials and to new ways of expressing, because creativity is something that hasn't been before. It's taking the universal ancient and making it new again, over and over again, through each one of us. And it's such a pleasure to have this kaleidoscope of incredible art. And thank you all so, so much. Beautiful community. Thank you so much, Sven. You've been a pleasure. It's been great to get to know you. Really, really.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Liba, for organizing this.
Yes, thank you for live streaming us.
There. Choo choo.
Choo choo.